good day, even depending on where you are. So just said, today's theme is gathering, and building on last month's theme of my circuit, which was glimmers and training ourselves to see resource around us. Today is to go one step further. The theme of gathering support, cultivating, bolstering safety, belonging, dignity within and around us. And it's very understandable that when we're under pressure, strain, we can feel ourselves starting to feel like we have to hold it all alone, do it all. Because sometimes actually that can feel easier, but often it can leave us feeling tired or unsupported in and out. So this kind of support that I'm talking about is really the juice that enables us to do the important things, act out of integrity in line with what's important to us, even when we're under pressure, whether that's speaking up, acting out of integrity, taking an important risk, or staying present with our toddler while they're having a tantrum. Whatever it is, it's that we need this reconnecting to an inner and outer support. Our brave, our resilience, our integrity, our vulnerability. So, because often when we're feeling tired, stretched, that's when we need it most. So knowing how to gather and feel it when we need it most is really helpful and important. So today we'll move through some gentle, simple movement and breath to settle the system, bring our senses online. Some tapping to speak to situations where showing up and remembering that support, that integral support, can be hard. And then an embodied meditation to bring it all together. So let's start with our movement practice. And I say movement, we're going to do it all from seated. And as always, everything that I share is a complete invitation. So definitely not a command. So make this work for you. If you need to take breaks, then do. If something doesn't feel right, that's okay. You make it work for you, or that's okay to leave it out too. So I invite you just to scooch a little forward in your chair, just so we're not leaning back into that support behind us just yet. And before we go into a bit of structured movement, I'm going to offer you to do a bit of free stretching and yawning here. So taking a big breath in, maybe squeeze the shoulders up by the ears, maybe stretch the arms up if you've got some space to do so. And out a yawn. And then continue to do this, what's called pandiculation. You know, when you see a cat in the sunny spot of the room. Yeah, just give your body a little bit of movement. And what I find quite beautiful about when we move like that cat in the sunny spot for a moment, we often can start to notice little tight spots that might feel good, just to get a little bit of love. And if those yawns are coming through, then remember that yawns are not only great to release tension in the neck and the jaw, but they're also great to loosen up the larynx, prepare for breath work. And we'll be moving on to some more breath work in a moment with this movement. Lovely. So just maybe give 2 more breaths of this good old cat stretch. And then very gradually just settling down to your seat for a moment with either eyes open or closed. And just take a moment to see how you feel after that. And we're going to bring in a breath of in through the nose. And a blowing the breath out of the mouth. And keeping this going here, in through the nose. You might find a few of those yawns are still coming through. That's good. Welcome them. They obviously needed. And now in time with the breath, we're going to take a rocking forward with the inhale. No rocking back with the exhale. Rocking forward on the inhale, and we'll probably be moving at different paces, and that's okay. Move at the pace of your breath. And just starting to tune into where your body meets the seat. You might find that after a moment, closing the eyes is a little easier to focus, but again, closing eyes isn't for everyone. And taking one more breath back and forth here. And then finding yourself back in the center, back on the sit bones. And then from here, we're going to simply rock side to side. So breathing in, rock to one side, doesn't matter which way. And breathing out, rocking to the other. And again, moving at your pace. So we may all be dancing at different rhythms. That's okay. And you may be able to start noticing how the weight shifts, not only in your seat, but also in your feet. Just gently tuning us into the support, the physical support underneath us. Lovely. And just noticing if there's a little desire to speed this up. That's human, it's welcome. It's always helpful to know if we've got that little fire in us today. Offer it the breath. And then once you've taken one more side to side, just finding yourself back in center again. Left and right in balance. Body against the seat. Feet against the floor. And then our final movement here is we're going to take some simple body tapping. And so you might want to start with one shoulder and slowly move down the arm. There is not one perfect way to do this. And just tapping down the arm. And slowly covering the whole arm with this tap. You might even want to do the hands, the backs of the hands. And then bringing that tapping to spread across the chest, collarbones. Just bringing a bit of sensory feedback here. There's moments when we're busy, we can become quite heady, and just movements, practices that give us some sensory feedback, bring us back into this beautiful body of ours. And then tapping down with the other arm when we're ready. And if it feels comfortable, if it's available to you, maybe doing a little bit of the upper back as well. Lovely. And back across the chest. And as you tap across the chest for this last moment, take a bigger breath in. And as you gently breathe out, just start to slow down this tap. And letting the hands rest on the lap. With eyes open or closed, taking a moment to notice how it is to be in your body right now. How it is to be you. Feeling that support of the chair, the floor, the support of the weight of the hands on the lap. And perhaps even sensing the support of this group, simply by being here at the same time, taking care of ourselves together today. How support can come in so many different ways. And taking a big old breath here. And let it go in the most satisfying way you can. It might be another yawn, it might be a shh, it might be a lovely. And so we're going to move into our tapping part of the circuit now. And so I'll quickly recap the points, but don't worry, you don't have to remember them. If you miss one, that's okay. If certain points aren't comfortable or aren't available to your reach, that's okay. Leave them out. And so we'll start with what's called the karate chop point. And we can tap really lightly here using the tips of the fingers. If you've got longer fingernails, you can use the pads of the fingers. And then we come to the crown of the head, the inner eyebrow, the top of the eyebrow, around midway, the outside of the eye, where the eye socket is, under the eye, under the nose, on the chin, just in that little nook of the collarbone here as it curves round, and on the side of the body, and across the wrist. Now you'll still see me holding my hands up for this so that you can see what I'm doing. But for you, I would say let your arms relax. You can do it down in your lap. Okay, so let's start with the karate chop point. Now, there'll be a few points in this practice where I'll ask you to fill in your own experience. And you can say the words that we repeat between us. You can say them out loud or to yourself. If you're in a shared space right now, you might not feel comfortable or right to say those, and that's okay. If you are alone, I'd invite you to perhaps give it a go and hold it with some curiosity. Okay. So continuing to tap on the side of the hand, let's start with repeating after me a few phrases. Right now, I'm choosing to explore where I am supported. Supported in the present, supported from my past, support from within me, support from around me. The kind of support that enables me to show up with integrity, courage, patience, love, confidence when I need it most. Even though it's easy to not see or feel this sometimes. Even though I might not want to see or feel this support sometimes. Even when that can leave me feeling holding it all. Right now, I am open to the possibility that I have support of others around me, more than I might realize. Right now, I am open to the possibility that I have inner support, strength, resilience, even in those moments when I don't feel it. And right now, I am open to the possibility of waking up to this more, so I can draw on it when I need it most. As you continue to tap on the side of the hand, just connecting back to that physical support of the chair that we were accessing in the last practice, the support of the chair, the floor. Beginning to deepen the breath in a comfortable way, a maintainable way. Notice the lifting quality of your inhale, perhaps even lengthening your spine, the back of your neck a little more as it rises each time. And the grounding support of each exhale, the steadiness beneath you. And as before, let those exhales release in any satisfying way you can. Huff, blow, whatever feels good. Now, maintaining that length of your posture, bring to mind a current or upcoming situation where you really want to show up, rooted in what's most important to you. Maybe you want to show up with some extra confidence, use your voice, whatever it might be. And bring that situation to mind. And why is it important to you that you do show up in that way? And staying with that breath, that heightened posture, and being curious if there's any emotions or tension that arises as you connect to that situation that's upcoming. And we'll begin to tap around the points now. So let's come to the top of the crown of the head. Showing up in integrity and confidence is hard sometimes. The inner eyebrow. Sometimes it might seem easier to not. In the top of the eyebrow. But what if I allowed myself to show up in this way? On the side of the eye. Even if it feels clunky or imperfect when I do. And under the eye. So right now I'm choosing to support myself through this and in this. Under the nose. Not to make how I show up some sort of perfect, but make it honest. And the chin. Because it's important to me that I show up in this way now. And come to the collarbone and state in your own words here the way you want to feel and show up in this situation. And then the side of the body, repeating after me. It's necessary and important to support myself. And across the wrist. I'm human after all. And the top of the head. And being human is complicated sometimes. And the inner eyebrow. So I'll give myself time to reflect and prepare when I need it. Top of the eyebrow. Support my stress levels so I feel calm and safe enough. This side of the eye. Safe enough to meet any discomfort, challenging inner chatter as they arise. And under the eye. So those feelings, thoughts don't feel bigger than me. And under the nose. I'll support my breath to keep my mind focused. Into the chin. Just like I'm doing right now. In the collarbone. So I can do hard things when I need to. In the side of the body. I can learn and grow from these experiences. And across the wrist. And then they be supportive of me as well. In the top of the head. I will support myself to remember why this is important to me, that I show up in this way. And to the inner eyebrow, and here state in your own words why it's important to you that you show up in this way, in this situation. And the top of the eyebrow. It's human to need support in doing this. And the side of the eye. It's courageous to give myself this. And under the eye. And it's courageous to gather it from others too. And come to under the nose and take a few deeper breaths here. I am choosing to broaden how I see the support around me. Into the chin. And I'm choosing to wake up to the inner support I have within me too. and the collarbone. In those moments that feel tough, stressful, I can remember what I stand for on the side of the body. And I'm choosing to remember that right now. And across the wrist, I am supported. And there is support around me that I can draw upon. I support myself gratefully and masterfully. I commit to connecting to this as often as I can. And just slow down the tap, take a big breath in here. Let the exhale slowly drop down through the body. And for this final part of the circuit, bringing a huskier inhale and a shh to the exhale. And begin to follow the rising and the falling. Moving attention to your center of gravity, down into the belly and the pelvis. Sending breath down to this space where you can soften into this support, receive this support. Sense gravity drawing you down, and that supporting you here too, steady, reliable. On this next inhale, follow it, rebounding up from that gravitational support. The inhale bringing some length and height back into the body. The height of you here. Staying with that rich breath. How is it to sit tall, breathe tall, feel tall, dignified? And begin to sense the breadth across the chest, in between each vertebrae, holding this sense of dignity and support, this height and this ease. Begin to use the breath to sense the width of you, the sides of you. Breathing into your shoulder width, the width of your ribs expanding out. Sense the space on either side of you. And perhaps for a moment, sensing those who stand in support of you, those loved ones, friends, and community. And this is where they stand. Sensing what it means to have them standing by your side. Maintaining that length, that width of you, and then sensing the back line of the body. Opening up the back line of the body with the breath. And it's here that is all the support, experience, wisdom, and learning that you've already gathered that's brought you up to this very point, even from the generations before you. And as you next breathe out, shift into the space in front of you. All that's to come, all that's in front of you, all the ways that you will. And on your next rich inhale, sense the height, the width, the depth of you front and back. And as you exhale, let it all soften. Taking another expansive breath into the entirety of you. And the support for you. And then very gently beginning to close this practice. If the eyes are closed, perhaps lowering the chin down before gently blinking them open. Starting to look around the space that you're in. Bringing the present back into your awareness. And then finally, just taking this last moment to notice how you're doing, how you're feeling, how you're breathing, how it is to be here, and how you arrived. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to being in this space with you again soon. Thank you.